I wonder if you've ever heard the name Cassandra. Cassandra is a character from classical mythology. She was actually a prophetess, but she was a cursed prophetess, because no matter what she prophesied, nobody would ever believe her. So even though she could foretell of terrible things that were going to happen to her friends and family, if she tried to warn them, they wouldn't believe her. And of course this finally culminated with the fall of Troy, when she tried to warn people that the wooden horse was nothing more than a trap sent by the Greeks. But they wouldn't believe her, so they brought it into the city, and finally it led to the destruction of the city itself. I'm going to do something very similar, on a slightly less dramatic scale, it has to be said. I'm going to use a pack of cards. A pack of cards which I have started off by putting in order, in numerical order, just so that you can see that every single one of the cards is present, and there is only one of each one of the cards. That, of course, almost goes without saying, but it is quite important, so I thought I would point it out. And once you've seen that, I'm now going to shuffle the cards up. And as I'm shuffling, I'm hoping that a prophecy will come to me. In fact, I wonder if I can ask you to give them a little shuffle as well for me, just while I'm thinking. Oh, there it is. The 7 of spades. That's the prophecy. What I'm going to ask you to do in just a moment is I'm going to ask you to select a card by a process of elimination. We're going to do it very fairly and very slowly. I'm going to give you the opportunity to change your mind as many times as you want to. But ultimately, you're going to have chosen one card, and that card will be the 7 of spades. But of course, although that sounds unlikely, it's possible that you believe me, because after all, I am a magician. But if I were Cassandra, then none of you would believe me. So I'm actually going to make it impossible for you to believe me, just as if I were Cassandra, by asking you to take an envelope, and I'd like you to have a look at the envelope, make sure that there are no slits in it, make sure it's a normal envelope. And while you're doing that, I'm going to put the one and only 7 of spades from this pack inside the envelope, thereby meaning that the one card that I have said you're going to take is not even present in the pack of cards, thereby making it impossible for my prophecy to become true, and consequently impossible for you to believe me. So it is indeed a truly Cassandrine situation. And if you'd like to seal the envelope up for me, thereby sealing the one and only 7 of spades inside the pack. And then, if I can give you this pen, for the sake of authenticity, I'd like you to put your initials or something actually on the back of the card there, so the envelope, so that we can see, oops, that that really is the very same envelope. In fact, we shall pop it onto the box over here, just so that you can see it like that. Perfect. Now this is the idea. Just as I said in my prophecy, I'm going to ask you to make a selection of half of the pack. And so I would like you to put your hand on either half, whichever half you like, and whichever half you select, you're quite sure? Do you want to change your mind? You're quite sure? I'd like you to pick it up and drop it in my hand for me. That's very good indeed. I'd like you to do exactly the same thing, cutting those cards in half for me, any way you like. And put your hand on either one of the two halves and pick those cards up and eliminate them by dropping them into my hand. Very good. Once again, exactly as before, cutting the cards in half. Very good. And one more time, putting your hand on either half, picking them up and dropping them on my hand. So again, we're eliminating all these cards. These are all the cards that you've eliminated so far. We're going to keep going. Again, just separate those. We're nearly down to the last few. But if you just like to separate them into 2 piles of 2, would be ideal. And again, put your hand on either half. You can again change your mind as many times as you want until you are convinced that you have had a free choice. Drop those on the top, leaving just 2 cards. If you'd like to separate those cards out, this is now the most important part of all. You have one more choice to make. I'd like you to eliminate one of those 2 cards. Are you sure that's the one you want to eliminate?
Yeah.
I'm going to take that card away, leaving that one card on the table. Are you quite sure that's the one you want to eliminate? Yes? Last chance?
No, that's fine.
You have eliminated the King of Diamonds. You've eliminated all of these cards, meaning we're left with just one card, and one card only. Nobody could possibly know what that card is. We only know the one card it isn't, which is the one card that's in the signed envelope. Could I ask you now for the first time to open up the sealed envelope to remind us of what card was put out of the way to start with? And what do you find inside the envelope? Nothing at all. Could it be that despite the impossibility, the prediction has come true? And could it actually be that the one card that you chose is the one card that you couldn't have chosen? The 7 of spades.